I am royalty. Your laws do not apply to me and neither does your judgment. Those were the words that echoed through the stunned silence of the courtroom. They didn't come from a confused teenager or a drunk driver. They came from 24-year-old Princess Elena of a European principality, a woman who stood before Judge Frank Caprio dripping in diamonds, believing her title was a shield that could deflect any consequence. She looked at the judge not with fear, but with boredom. She checked her nails while the prosecutor read the charges. She rolled her eyes when the victim, a terrified single mother whose car had been totaled, tried to speak. But when Judge Caprio calmly informed her that in his courtroom a crown weighs less than the truth, Princess Elena didn't just get angry. She exploded. She screamed, she threatened, and she made a move toward the bench that had bailiffs rushing forward, hands on their holsters. It was a moment that would be broadcast around the world, turning a simple traffic arraignment into an international incident. But what nobody in that room knew, not the press, not the lawyers, and certainly not the furious princess, was that a phone call had just been taken in the judge's chambers. A call from the royal palace itself. And the message delivered in that call was about to strip Princess Elena of the one thing she thought would save her. Before we witness the moment that humbled a royal and shook the nation, I need to ask you a question. Do you believe that justice should be blind, even when looking at a crown? If you believe that no one is above the law, hit that subscribe button right now. We are building a community of people who stand for truth, and we want you with us. This story is about to prove that sometimes, the higher you are, the harder you fall. It is a rainy Tuesday morning in Providence, Rhode Island. The municipal court is buzzing with the usual low hum of activity. People are shuffling papers, checking watches, and worrying about parking tickets or zoning violations. It is the most democratic place in the city, a room where everyone, regardless of their background, has to answer to the same rules. Judge Frank Caprio is on the bench. He is 86 years old, a man who has seen everything from the heartbreaking poverty of struggling families to the ridiculous excuses of the wealthy. He is known for his compassion, for his ability to see the human being behind the citation. But he is also known for something else, his absolute refusal to be bullied. The docket today is heavy. There are 30 cases to be heard before the lunch break, but everyone knows that case number 14 is the one that matters. Outside the courthouse, the atmosphere is different. It's chaotic. Black SUVs with tinted windows are idling in the no-parking zones, their engines running. Men in earpieces and dark suits are scanning the perimeter, pushing local reporters back. There is a tension in the air that usually only accompanies high-profile felony trials, not a municipal traffic hearing. The defendant is Her Royal Highness Princess Elena of Savoy-Mort. She is a socialite, a tabloid fixture, and a woman who has never been told no in her entire life. She is in Providence attending a prestigious design school, living in a penthouse that costs more per month than most families earn in a year. The incident that brought her here happened 3 days ago. According to the police report, which sits in a thick folder on Judge Caprio's desk, Princess Elena was driving her custom Aston Martin down Thayer Street at 2:00 p.m. The speed limit is 25 miles per hour. This is a pedestrian-heavy area filled with students, shoppers, and families. Witnesses state that the Aston Martin was weaving through traffic, revving its engine, and traveling at speeds estimated over 60 miles per hour. At the intersection of Waterman Street, the light turned red. A 2014 Honda Civic, driven by a woman named Sarah Miller, was proceeding through the intersection on a green light. Sarah is a 30-year-old nurse, a single mother who had just picked up her 4-year-old daughter from daycare. The Aston Martin did not stop. It didn't even slow down. It slammed into the side of the Honda Civic with enough force to spin the smaller car 3 times before it crashed into a lamppost. Glass shattered, metal crumpled. The sound was like a bomb going off in the quiet afternoon. But it is what happened next that enraged the city. According to 5 separate witness statements and security camera footage, Princess Elena did not rush to check on the victims. She did not call 911. She stepped out of her ruined supercar, looked at the scratch on her bumper, and threw her hands up in frustration. When a bystander yelled that there was a child crying in the other car, the princess was heard shouting into her phone, "Daddy, get the jet ready. This city is impossible, my car is ruined." When police arrived, she refused to provide identification. She refused a breathalyzer. She simply held up a diplomatic passport and said, "Touch me and you start a war." Now, 3 days later, she is walking into the courtroom. The doors swing open, and the hush that falls over the room is immediate. Princess Elena enters. She is wearing a white designer suit that looks immaculate. She is flanked by 2 private attorneys and a man who appears to be a consular official. She walks with her chin raised so high she can barely see where she is going. She does not look at the gallery. She does not look at the clerk. She walks past the empty wooden chairs reserved for defendants and stands directly in the center of the aisle waiting. Judge Caprio looks up over his glasses. He takes a moment, letting the silence stretch. He wants to see if she will offer the customary respect due to the court. She does not. She taps her foot. "Good morning," Judge Caprio says, his voice calm but projecting to the back of the room. "Please state your name for the record." The princess sighs, a loud theatrical exhale that is picked up by the microphones. She looks at her attorney, a high-priced litigator named Marcus Thorne. Thorne steps forward. "Your Honor, I am Marcus Thorne, representing Her Royal Highness Princess Elena. We are here simply to clarify a misunderstanding regarding jurisdiction." Judge Caprio raises a hand. "Mr. Thorne, I ask the defendant to state her name." "In this courtroom, we speak to the people charged, not just their representatives. Young lady, what is your name?" Elena looks at the judge, her eyes narrowing. "I am Princess Elena, and I do not see why I am standing in this room. This is a matter for the State Department, not a traffic court. This room," Judge Caprio says, leaning forward slightly, "is where justice is administered in the city of Providence. And you are here because you are charged with reckless driving, failure to stop at a red light, leaving the scene of an accident with injuries, and disorderly conduct. These are serious charges. Do you understand them?" "I understand that you are wasting my time," Elena replies. The gasp from the gallery is audible. "I have diplomatic protection. My father has already spoken to the governor. This is a formality." Judge Caprio looks down at the file. "I see a note here regarding diplomatic status. However, I also see a waiver signed by the consulate regarding local traffic statutes for students residing in the state. We will get to that. First, I want to hear the facts. Inspector Quinn, please take the stand." Inspector Quinn is a veteran officer. He looks tired. He walks to the microphone, swears in, and opens his notebook. "Your Honor," Quinn begins, his voice steady. "On the afternoon in question, I responded to a collision at Thayer and Waterman. I found the victim, Miss Sarah Miller, trapped in her vehicle. The fire department had to use the jaws of life to extract her. Her daughter, age 4, was in the back seat screaming. Miraculously, the child suffered only bruising, but Ms. Miller suffered a fractured collarbone and severe whiplash." The judge nods slowly. "And the defendant?" "The defendant was standing on the curb, Your Honor. She was screaming at a paramedic who was trying to check her vitals. She called him she used derogatory language regarding his social status. When I approached her to ask for her license, she told me that her time was worth more than my life. She attempted to leave the scene in a private vehicle that had arrived, but we blocked it." Judge Caprio turns his gaze back to the princess. "Is this true? Did you attempt to leave while a woman and child were being cut out of a car you hit?" Elena laughs. It is a cold, short sound. "I was not leaving. I was removing myself from a hostile environment. People were filming me. It was an invasion of privacy, and as for the accident, that woman should have seen me coming. I had the right of way." "The light was red," Judge Caprio says, his voice dropping an octave. "Red means stop. It means stop for plumbers, it means stop for teachers, and it means stop for princesses. Did you see the red light?" "I saw that the intersection was clear enough," she counters. "In my country, we drive with purpose. If people are too slow, that is not my fault." This is the moment the atmosphere shifts. The arrogance is so palpable it feels heavy. The attorney, Mr. Thorne, looks nervous. He touches the princess's arm, whispering something. She shakes him off. "Don't shush me, Marcus. I want this over." She looks at the judge. "How much is the fine?" "5,010. Just tell me the number so I can write the check and leave." Judge Caprio takes off his glasses. He places them gently on the desk. This is a signal that regular viewers know well. "It means the patience has run out." "You think this is about money," Caprio says softly. "You think you can come into my city, nearly kill a mother and child, insult my officers, and then buy your way out." "It is always about money," Elena says, smiling as if she's explaining something to a child. "That is how the world works. My father pays for this city's cultural exchange program. He pays for the hospital wing where that woman was taken. So yes, I will pay the fine and I will go." "Let's look at the video," Caprio says. He signals to the clerk. The large monitors in the courtroom flicker to life. The footage is from the officer's body camera. The video plays. The audio is crisp. The courtroom watches as the digital version of Princess Elena shoves a phone into the officer's face. "Do you know who I am?" The voice on the recording screams. "I am royalty. You are a servant. Get out of my face before I have you fired." The video shows the officer remaining calm. "Ma'am, please step back." "I will not step back. My car is a limited edition. Who is going to pay for this?" "That peasant in the Honda. She looks like she can't even afford gas." The courtroom is dead silent. On the screen, the princess actually spits at the ground near the officer's boots. The video ends. The screen goes black. Judge Caprio stares at the defendant. You called a nurse a peasant. You worried about your paint job while a 4-year-old was screaming in pain. Alina shrugs. I was upset. It was a stressful situation. I am the victim of trauma here as well. Trauma? Caprio asks. Ms. Miller hasn't been able to return to work. She is losing wages. She is traumatized every time she gets in a car. That is trauma. What you experienced was inconvenience. Your Honor, the attorney intervenes, his voice shaking slightly. My client is young. She is under immense pressure. We are willing to offer a generous settlement to the victim. We will replace the car. We will pay the medical bills. We ask that the charges be dismissed with a reprimand. Judge Caprio looks at the victim, Sarah Miller, who is sitting in the front row. Her arm is in a sling. She looks small, tired, and intimidated. Ms. Miller, the judge asks gently. Do you have anything you want to say? Sarah stands up slowly. She is trembling. She walks to the microphone. She doesn't look at the princess. She looks at the judge. Your Honor, she whispers. I don't want her money. I want her to know that my daughter is a person. She isn't a peasant. She isn't an obstacle. She's a little girl who wakes up screaming now because of the crash. I want an apology, a real one. It is a simple request. It is the bare minimum of human decency. Judge Caprio turns to the princess. You heard her, one mother to another human being. Will you apologize? Alina looks at Sarah. She looks her up and down, her expression curling into a sneer. I do not apologize for accidents, Alina says coldly. If she cannot drive defensively, she should take the bus. I will pay what is required by law, but I will not demean myself by apologizing to someone who shouldn't have been in my way. The cruelty of the statement hangs in the air. Even the princess's own lawyer looks down at his shoes, ashamed. Judge Caprio's face hardens. The grandfatherly warmth is gone. In its place is the steel of a man who has spent 50 years defending the law. Ms. Alina, he says, dropping the title, you seem to operate under the delusion that your bloodline makes you superior. You believe that because your father has a title, you are exempt from the basic responsibilities of humanity. It is not a delusion, she snaps back. It is a fact. I have diplomatic immunity. You cannot touch me. You cannot sentence me. You can only fine me, so issue the fine. She crosses her arms, looking triumphant. She thinks she has won. She thinks the law is a game and she holds the cheat code. Actually, Caprio says, picking up a piece of paper that had been handed to him just moments before the hearing began. That brings us to the matter of your status. He holds up the paper. It is on heavy, cream-colored stationery. It bears a wax seal. 10 minutes ago, Caprio continues, my chambers received a fax and a phone call. It seems your father, the prince, has been watching the live stream of these proceedings. For the first time, Alina's mask slips, her eyes widen. What? He has been watching, Caprio repeats. And he also saw the body cam footage we just played. He saw how you treated the officer. He heard how you spoke about the victim. Alina takes a step back. My father would never. He supports me. He runs the country. He does, Caprio agrees. And he seems to care very much about the reputation of that country. This letter is from the royal ambassador, authorized by your father. The judge puts his glasses back on and begins to read. To the Honorable Court of Providence. We have viewed the actions of Princess Alina with deep shame and regret. The House of Savoy-Mort stands for service, honor, and humility. The behavior displayed by the defendant is contrary to everything our family represents. Alina is shaking her head. No, that's fake, he wouldn't. Caprio continues reading. Therefore, effective immediately, the royal family is formally waiving any and all diplomatic immunity regarding this case. We withdraw all consular protection. Princess Alina is to be treated as a private citizen, subject to the full extent of United States law. We further request that no special leniency be shown. Perhaps the laws of your democracy can teach her the lessons we failed to instill. The silence in the courtroom is absolute. It is the silence of a bomb having been defused, only to realize another one is ticking. The princess's face goes pale, the color drains from her cheeks, the arrogance vanishes, replaced by sudden stark terror. You're lying, she screams. My father loves me, he wouldn't let you do this. It is done, Caprio says, setting the paper down. You are not a diplomat today, Ms. Alina. You are a driver, a reckless one. I want to call him. Give me my phone. She reaches into her purse, her hands shaking so badly she drops the device. It skitters across the floor. Bailiff, Caprio says calmly. Please secure the defendant. 2 officers step forward. The bodyguards who walked in with the princess do not move to stop them. They have their orders. They step aside. Don't touch me, Alina shrieks as the officer takes her arm. Do you know who I am? We know who you are, Caprio says. You are a defendant facing 4 criminal charges, and since you have no immunity and you have clearly stated you have no intention of respecting the court or the victim, I am setting bail. Bail? She laughs hysterically. I have millions. I can pay any bail. Bail is denied, Caprio says. The words hit her like a physical blow. What? You are a flight risk, Caprio explains. You have access to private jets. You have expressed a desire to leave the jurisdiction. You have no ties to this community other than a semester at school, and your behavior suggests you are a danger to the public. You will be remanded to the custody of the Department of Corrections until your trial. Jail, her voice breaks. It is a small, terrified sound. You can't send me to jail, I'm a princess, I can't go to jail, it's dirty, it's for them. She points a trembling finger at the gallery. It is for anyone who breaks the law, Caprio says. Officer, take her into custody. As the bailiffs move to handcuff her, the reality sets in. The diamonds, the designer suit, the title, none of it matters. The cold metal of the handcuffs clicks shut. Alina begins to weep. It is not a graceful cry. It is the sobbing of a child who has realized the game is over. Please, Judge, I'm sorry, I'll apologize, I'm sorry. She turns to Sarah Miller. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, please tell him to stop. Judge Caprio watches her, he does not look happy. He looks sad. Ms. Alina, he says, his voice soft again. I believe you are sorry now, but you are sorry because you are facing consequences, not because you hurt someone. You had your chance to show character when you thought you were safe. That is when character counts. You failed. He looks at the bailiffs. Take her away. The courtroom erupts into whispers as the princess of a European nation is led out the back door, weeping, flanked by corrections officers. The click-clack of her designer heels is drowned out by the heavy thud of the holding cell door closing behind her. Judge Caprio sits back in his chair. He looks exhausted. He turns to Sarah Miller. Ms. Miller, the court will ensure that restitution is paid immediately. The royal family has already transferred funds to the court's escrow account to cover a new vehicle and all your medical expenses, plus damages for pain and suffering. You will be taken care of. Sarah nods, wiping tears from her eyes. Thank you, Your Honor, I didn't think, you didn't think justice applied to everyone. Caprio finishes for her. In this room it does, good luck to you. The feed cuts there, but the story didn't end. Princess Alina spent 3 nights in the Providence Detention Center, no private suite. No personal chef, just a cot, a standard-issue orange jumpsuit, and the reality of her actions. When she returned to court 3 days later for a status hearing, she was a different person. The arrogance was gone. She pleaded guilty to all charges. Her father, the prince, released a public statement. He said that while he loved his daughter, he loved the principles of justice more. He stated that wealth without responsibility is a cancer, and he thanked Judge Caprio for teaching his daughter the lesson she needed. Alina was sentenced to 3 months of community service, not administrative work but real labor. She spent her summer cleaning graffiti off walls and picking up trash in the very park she used to speed past in her Aston Martin. Photos surfaced a month later. There was no designer suit. She was wearing jeans and a neon vest holding a trash bag. She looked tired, but she also looked humble. In an interview given after her sentence was complete, Alina said something that surprised everyone. She said, I hated Judge Caprio that day. I wanted to destroy him. But looking back, he was the only man who ever treated me like a real person. He saved me from becoming a monster. This story went viral not just because of the drama, or the shouting, or the shock of seeing a royal in handcuffs. It went viral because we are starving for this kind of justice. We live in a world where it often feels like the rich and powerful play by a different set of rules. We see them get away with things that would ruin a normal person's life. But for 1 hour on a rainy Tuesday in Providence, the scales balanced. A single mother was heard, a princess was humbled, and a father chose integrity over protection. It reminds us that respect isn't something you inherit, it isn't something you buy, it is something you earn. Judge Caprio often says that he doesn't just judge cases, he judges hearts. In the case of Princess Alina, he saw a heart that had been hardened by privilege, and he broke it open so that something better could grow. Before you go, I want to know what you think. If you were the father, the prince, would you have stripped your daughter of her immunity, or would you have protected her no matter what? It's a hard question. Leave your answer in the comments below, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. We bring you the stories that matter, the stories that show the best and worst of humanity, and the justice that lies in between. Hit that like button if you respect Judge Caprio, and share this video with someone who needs a reminder that in the end, we are all equal in the eyes of the law. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next case.